Put your hand on a hot stove for 1 minute and it'll seem like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour and it'll seem like 1 minute. That's relativity.
That's relativity. It's just genius.
The pathologist that performs his autopsy, Thomas Harvey, secretly removes his brain.
See, you've got hundreds of them in this place, all working away, and that's the fact, is that he did as much work in 1 day as almost the rest of the office is doing in a month. Welcome to episode 57, podcast 57 of Bloomin Legends. I'm Johnny Vaughan.
I'm Gavin Woods. Can't believe we're still doing that.
What do you mean? We've only been doing it 3 weeks.
I know, it's
still doing it.
It's brilliant.
No, but you're right, yes. Third week. Can't believe we're still doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's episode 57. And what I want to say here is the fact is, it's episode 57. If I say 57 to you, Gab, what do you instantly think of?
Heinz.
57
varieties.
What an extraordinary advertising opportunity the guys at Heinz have missed. And I say to anyone who's thinking of just sponsoring a podcast that's specific to them, it might be someone that established your company or the company you work for years ago. It might be the chairman of your football club. It might be your granddad that started a business that needs sponsorship. It might be that your granddad is Sir Greville Screwfix, something like that. And
Josiah Halford.
Yes, could be. Sir Thomas Tiptree, something like that, you know. And what an opportunity that would be to get your founder on there.
Absolutely.
And to really re-establish your company's old credentials,
Johnny,
and where you're from.
It'd be a shot in the arm, wouldn't it?
It'd be a welcome fillip for any company.
Absolutely.
And you could have it playing on a loop in your foyer of your large premises in the city. You could
perhaps in your conference room. Yes,
it might be Sir Alfred Lloyd of Lloyd's of London. Oh no, that was a coffee shop.
Yes,
but
it was.
Still, you catch my drift. Today, Heinz. Well, the opportunity has been missed, and it's sad because Heinz was an amazing man, one of 8 children, obsessed with preserving.
Yes.
A German immigrant family in America.
Yes.
Obsessed with preserving food because of the westward expansion, and
people had to carry food.
And people
in
had
the
to carry
carriages.
food.
Yeah.
And this is his story. Shows why in Europe every country's got these sort of specific brands that you recognise, which makes their supermarkets different, but not in America. Everything's rolled out across America because obviously all those brands have grown into it.
Yeah.
As the country expanded, the brands went with them.
As big as the country was, that's
unlike
as big
Europe.
as the brand. Yeah.
There's the European model.
Little fiefdoms.
Yeah, little fiefdoms. And so Heinz. Do you know what he based Heinz ketchup on?
What?
It's Chinese. It's a Chinese fish sauce.
Oh, catsup. Yes,
Catsup.
yes, and it was fermented fish or something
It's
originally.
It's a fish sauce.
That's right.
A catsup is a fish sauce. So there you go. But the tomato ketchup that he invented was meant just to go with pasta. You just put it in.
That's all it was.
And instantly you've got sauce.
It wasn't for cheeseburgers.
No.
It wasn't meant to pair with a mustard on a hot dog.
No, it's just to go in with noodles.
Wow.
So it was a Chinese thing to go in with noodles, and then they tomatoized it just to go in with pasta because there's so many Italian migrants.
Wow.
And that's what it's for. It's an instant pasta sauce.
Wow.
It's weird that you don't think of so many Heinz foods as being, like even Heinz spaghetti, you don't think of it as being like spaghetti.
No, exactly.
It's Heinz spaghetti.
Yeah, right.
But Heinz baked beans, that's again, it's pasta.
Yes.
They see that as being, what is it?
Fagioli al forno.
Yeah, fagioli
al forno.
Fagioli in a tomato sauce.
Yes, from the oven.
I know. It's hard to imagine sometimes the Heinz things as connecting with a real food that it's tinning, that it's intinned by Heinz. Anyway, real opportunity you've missed there, Heinz. I could have done a whole episode for you.
Yeah.
And it would have been a superb celebration of the world's favourite tin food and ketchup brand.
Sure.
I know you're getting into mayonnaise as well, and it's good mayonnaise. If you'd sponsored this, we would have said it's better than other mayonnaise brands.
It's that
but
simple.
you didn't. You didn't.
You missed the boat.
So you missed an absolute sitter there. Anyway, let's get on with episode 57. Nothing to do with Heinz. Gav,
nothing at all.
Who has it got to do with? It is a German.
It's a fellow German, yes.
Yes, go on.
Today's Bloomin Legend, Johnny, is Albert Einstein.
Wow.
Bertie Einstein.
Bert
Bert Einstein, a German theoretical physicist who transformed our understanding of space and time and energy and mass. He's best known for developing the theory of relativity and its famous equation E equals mc squared. And despite very early struggles in school and difficulty finding work, he became one of the most influential scientists in the modern era.
Yes.
And an international symbol of genius.
And this is what should send everyone into meltdown, is now he'd be held back and classified as send.
That's right,
because he was, no doubt about it, to come up with the things he came up with. You'd have to be in the spectrum.
Yes,
which he,
100%.
Which if you look at his personal life, he undoubtedly was.
Very much so.
But yes, his impact on the world is like no other human ever. In that, like Newton, he didn't invent anything. He merely discovered systems
and
that
observed things.
But the systems he discovered are
tiny and massive.
Yes. My definition of genius is very simple, Gav.
Go on.
Someone who realises that under your very nose, a big thing of gone.
Yeah.
And in this case, gravity.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And what it really is.
Energy within a system of interacting bodies.
Yes.
But Newton, it's like under your very nose. It's tiny.
Yeah.
Is what he discovered. Tiny but big.
Exactly.
Gav, take us there, because I find he is the most fascinating man.
He is fascinating.
He's the most fascinating man who's ever lived.
Born 1879 in Ulm, ULM, in Germany, on the 14th of March, 1879. At birth, his head was described as large and fat.
Right.
Leading family members to fear it was an actual deformity.
Yeah.
Do we think that's anything to do with his cleverness? He had a big head. I don't know.
Gav.
We'll come to that at the end of his life, because in his post-mortem, they did actually preserve his brain, which is quite interesting. His father was an engineer and his uncle a salesman. They had a business called Elektrotechnische. It was electrical equiment company. Yeah.
My father was an engineer, electrical engineer and mechanical engineer. But he always used to say that to me. Remember, Einstein was an engineer's son.
Yeah.
And if I was trailing and not, but engineer's son of all professions, they have the highest incidence of being
100%.
Engineer's son is top of the rankings for having children with autism.
Interesting.
I mean, I haven't, but.
We'll come to that as well, because he worked in the patent office, and he found the work really easy.
No, it's amazing what
he would look at a schematic and just understand it instantly, and that's something your dad had.
Well, later, my dad did have that.
Yeah.
Later, we will find out that in that patent office, Einstein, in one day, could do the work of the rest of the office did in a month. One day.
Yeah.
He could just look at a diagram with cogs and things, and he could just look at it
and go, "There's your problem."
And go, "That won't work."
Yeah.
Chung.
Next.
That won't work because you've got too much friction there. It's gone on the wayboard thing. That won't work.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else is having to
work it through.
Yes. Which was sometimes I think that the brain might have a specific capacity in terms of what it can process.
Yes.
And Einstein lost it in a lot of areas, but to keep all those cogs spinning like my father could meant you lose processing power in other areas. Like he had no sense of direction.
Right.
He couldn't really judge the length of his trousers.
Right.
Just other areas.
Yeah.
Tidiness, colours, things going with things. All these sort of some of his social skills.
Yeah.
Just those things. I'm not being unkind to my father, who sadly passed away last year, but I start to see. I'm not saying he's like Einstein.
Yeah.
But I can start to see that he could look at a machine in that way and make it all work in his mind.
Amazing.
And I think there is limited processing power, which is possibly why adrenaline makes our brains speed up so the world slows down so we can process a bit more.
Right. Which in itself is a hint of relativity.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
When he was young, he was slow in developing. It's believed he didn't speak till he was 3. That's very spectrum orientated.
But Gav, you know the joke about it.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the Einstein joke. When Einstein was a boy, and a lot of people tell this joke as just a small fat German child, but originally this joke is said to be about Einstein. Here's the joke. A couple have a baby. Albert is their child. Mm-hmm. He doesn't say a word. There's nothing wrong with his vocal cords. They have them. They have his vocal cords analysed. People come and say to his mother, "Still, he doesn't make a sound." He goes, "We don't know why this is. See, vocal cords are fine. We've had them checked out by specialists all over Germany. We don't know why his vocal cords they don't work."
Year two goes by.
Year two goes by. Gets to his second birthday party. Everyone's gathered together. Everyone's celebrating it. Albert's sitting there.
Not a word.
Big head.
Yeah.
German kid just sitting there. Doesn't make a sound. Everyone goes, "See, little Albert, he still doesn't make a sound. Why? He goes, "We don't know why. He is fine. We take him to doctors.
Already he is two.
We take him to specialists. We don't know why he doesn't make a sound. We don't know why this is.
We've even been to Switzerland.
We have been to Switzerland." Anyway, don't you dare chase salad.
Oh, my God.
Gets to his third birthday party.
Yeah.
Third birthday party. Little German kid sitting there, great big head, unusually large head, sitting there, yeah? Still hasn't said a word. He's like, still the little Albert hasn't spoken. We don't know why this is. We don't know why Albert hasn't said ein word. Anyway, slice of cake comes round. Takes a bite of his birthday cake, yeah? Suddenly he sits up like this and he just goes, "The icing on the cake is ein little bit bitter." Everyone's like, "Albert, you can speak! You can speak! Albert, you can speak! Why have you remained silent for so long? Why have you broken your silence? What is happening? Why? He just goes, "Because up until now, everything else has been quite satisfactory." There we go.
I think it's one of the best jokes ever.
One of the best jokes ever.
It's one of the best.
One of the best jokes ever.
So 1884, he's 5 years old. His father shows him a pocket compass.
Right.
And he's quoted later in life that he says, "That was the first time I was ever encountering an idea."
Right.
Just the idea of a force making
Yes.
the needle move.
Invisible force. And yet sometimes people find it hard to believe in God.
I know.
You think, well, you believe in magnetism, you believe in electricity, you believe in so many forces you can't see.
Well, he said he realised there was an unseen force that underlies reality,
Yeah.
that he can't see but wants to understand more.
Right.
This moment becomes his origin story.
Right. Well,
basically.
it's the all these things. They're the starting pistol that begins the race.
Definitely. As a young child at school, he didn't fit in at all.
But also, Gav, again, very quite spectrum.
No, it is.
To look for systems.
Yeah, and logic.
Yeah.
Like, why should I study this now?
Yeah.
He was like that
Yes,
as a kid.
Systems, though.
He was described as quiet, serious, and not sociable. He was slow to warm to individuals.
Yeah.
Teachers found him difficult to deal with, and he hated the strict part of the schooling.
Yeah.
It's very unique considering he's now the face of education and the
Yeah.
symbol of a genius who would normally love schooling.
But the picture everyone loves is this one.
There
With
you
his
go.
tongue out.
Yeah.
Because it shows the most intelligent human who ever lived could be silly.
Could just mess about.
Yeah. Was a bozo.
Mess about.
You know, and I always think
exactly.
that it's a bit sad that picture is the one they hold up of Einstein, because
Yeah.
it's as if to say, you know, it was just an idiot.
A kook.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's, you know, I don't know. He's more than that.
Oh, definitely.
But then again, some of his comments are so funny. They're like stand-up one-liners. We shall get to them in a second.
Definitely. He carried on being a pain in school as he got older. He rebelled. It was a really military sort of school, really formal in Munich.
Gav, I don't think there are any liberal schools back in
I know.
1889. You know?
And this is, again, one of the most spectrum things. He chose only to learn things he was interested in.
Yeah.
Mainly maths and science at the time. Age 12, over a summer break, he taught himself algebra and Euclidean geometry.
Yes.
In the summer.
Yeah.
That's what he spent his time. Not skateboarding, just algebra and geometry.
And puzzles.
So, but he knew equations and symbols and things by 12.
Yes.
He loved geometry so much, he carried the geometry book he was studying, he carried it around for a year, wherever he went. For him, it was a page turner.
Systems.
Yeah, just shapes and angles.
But you see, the thing is, with his condition, remember, when we look at triangles and we start putting the
two-dimensional spaces,
the value of the angles.
Yes.
You know, in sort of the Euclidean world,
Yes.
there's no values. Sorry, there's no numbers attached.
No.
everything is...
They're just symbols.
It's algebra. It's just algebra in a shape, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So really bright people, which is something obviously we don't come near.
Not with maths.
They don't see it as numbers.
No.
In any of their world.
No, it's almost like colours.
These things. These things.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's so hard for us.
Yes.
You know, who
we have to sit and work out the components of it.
Yeah.
They just see a whole picture.
At a glance, these symbols talk to them.
So 1895 to 1900, his family moved to Italy, but he stays behind to finish his education. He hates the school system and he acts up at school. He was known to challenge the rules because he found them irrational.
Yes.
Age 15, he decides he's not interested and he walks out. He becomes a school dropout.
Right.
His teacher told him on the way out he would never amount to anything, which has got to be the ultimate version of that I've ever heard of.
It's so encouraging. It's great. It's like when I years ago went to the BBC, I was talking to them in the comedy department, and I think it's John Plowman's comedy department, above him on the wall is a rejection letter for Faulty Towers saying, I don't think anyone will find this funny, John.
Really?
I'm sorry. And you're thinking, it's just there to remind whoever was commissioner at the BBC comedy department that, hang on a second, remember.
You were wrong.
Don't be that twat.
Well, there was the guy at EMI or one of the big record labels that turned down the Beatles because guitar bands are out.
Yes, right.
Guitar bands.
But isn't it great? Isn't it so reassuring, isn't it? Jeremy Clarkson was telling me that the only reason he bought a brewery with a couple of friends, Hawkston, the only reason he bought that was really because a teacher said to him he couldn't run a piss up in a brewery. And he's just all his life saying, you fucking watch me.
Not only will I arrange that piss up,
yes.
it'll be my brewery.
No, he has had several piss ups. It turns out, you know what? He can.
You see, revenge in life, it doesn't have to be at the person.
No.
You can do it. You can savour a moment like that. Yeah. Anyway, the next year he applies to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich, but he fails the entrance exam. Very surprising. He spends the next year studying elsewhere in Switzerland, renounces his own German citizenship at 17, and eventually gets his place at the Polytechnic. He graduates in...
It's funny because Polytechnics were really,
I know.
Really
sounds
low down.
really second rate.
He couldn't get into a Polytechnic.
I know.
They call them universities now, of course.
No, that word got such a bad name, they got rid of the word.
It's because it's making people feel they're
I
not
know,
as good. But in actual fact, they were a lot more practical, the courses.
And really good, some of them.
Were thinkers, but Polytechnics were a bit more actually related to life.
He graduates in exactly 1900, age 20. Some nice round numbers. And he struggles to get a job because he thinks he's going to get a job in academia, but he doesn't get one. While studying, he meets Milecha Maric, his wife-to-be, who became his study partner, and then they become partners. It's believed they have a child called Lisel, who was born in 1902, but records aren't there for what happened. Either she died young of scarlet fever, is one of the stories, or they gave her up for adoption because they couldn't bring up a child.
Isn't that interesting?
It's amazing, yeah. By the time she was 5, she'd ceased to exist. Bizarre.
Are you saying she went to space?
That child became... No, no, I don't know.
No, wait a second. What, they just lost a kid?
Well,
and there's no record?
It. No, we don't know.
Gav, he only died in 1955.
I know.
People could talk to him and say, what happened to your daughter?
That's a good point.
This isn't like ancient history. This is like 1900.
Maybe it was so tragic he never wanted to speak of it. Maybe she just died of scarlet fever.
I don't know, but considering I had a granddad who's born in 1905. This is a bit...
Yeah, it's mad though.
It's ridiculous to say, we don't know what happened.
We don't know.
I was going to say. Right?
Well, maybe the shame of putting her up for adoption, maybe he felt ashamed if they did.
5?
Well, it could have been...
I think, hang on a second, I think the police should still probe this.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, they got married in 1903. But it didn't last more than 10 years. They separated because he kept being unfaithful. It took another 6...
He loved the ladies.
Did he? I didn't know that.
No,
I
really,
never knew that about Einstein.
Yeah.
It took him another 6 years. It took them another...
It was like Stephen Hawking.
Yes.
And I don't mean this to sound tawdry, but you think about this. He could move one finger, effectively, Gav.
Yeah.
And he left his wife and went with another woman.
I know.
What was he doing with the finger?
I know, it beggars belief. An inquiry is required.
It really does, yeah.
So it took them another 6 years to settle their divorce. And you know what his settlement was?
What?
He said, if I win the Nobel, I'll give you the prize money. Because they didn't have any money.
No, and also he had no chance for Nobel back then.
No chance.
That's like you. It's like you saying to me that...
Yeah, if I win the 100 metres in the Olympics.
No. If you enter the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right, yeah, now.
Now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gav plays the guitar. He's an
That's
excellent
right,
guitarist.
yeah.
But I can tell you now, he's not going to get to the rock and roll.
No.
Well, but that it would have been as unlikely as that. I mean,
Could I become the Einstein of rock and roll?
Yeah, it's unlikely at that time,
Yeah.
which is actually the very early days of the Nobel Prize.
It is. I mean, they almost didn't know what they were going to give the prizes for at the time. But anyway, yes, amazing. But he won it 2 years later, which is amazing.
Well, we're getting on the annus mirabilis of
Yes,
1905.
we are going to come to that.
Let's keep down on that.
Before we get to that.
That's the year that changed the world.
But before the miracle year, he joins the patent office for a job in 1902. He would stand at his lectern, at lectern 86 of the office, and examine, as you said, the inventions for patentability.
Can I say, Gav, as well?
Yeah.
At this time, what you've got to remember, and in one of the best biographies I've read of Einstein, I say that, I've read two.
Yeah.
But what's amazing about it is you can see the pictures of how vast this patent office is. But also, what you get a notion of, this is coming really off the back of the Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
And the explosion of science. And what's amazing is you've got to see it almost like the sort of the explosion now in AI and computing.
Yes.
And is everyone who's got a shed and something mechanical
was trying to come up with a new
inventing
thing.
things.
Yeah, all of
because
them.
Suddenly people are finding all the shortfalls in their life that they need a little hack.
Yes.
They that's what they want.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Especially that guy McCoy. I can never remember his first name. He invented in America a little device. He was a train driver.
Yeah.
A little device that just spilled enough oil on one of the couplings or one of the things that was rubbing against, and it allowed the train to carry on running.
Is that the real McCoy?
And that was the real McCoy.
Wow.
Amazing story.
It's amazing. Anyway, Gav, so this patent office is incredibly busy. I mean, he's at desk 86.
Yeah.
See, you've got hundreds of them in this place, all working away, and that's the fact, is that he did as much work in one day as almost the rest of the office is doing in a month.
Absolutely amazing.
It's crazy.
So much so that he deliberately divided his 24-hour day into 3 8-hour tranches.
Yes.
So he would do 8 hours at the patent office, then he would spend 8 hours on miscellaneous science projects.
Yes.
And then he would do 8 hours sleep.
Yes.
And do it all over again. And as you said, it was easy work for him and quite well paid.
Yeah.
And he managed his time to the minute so that he could do all these things. He didn't do a minute more or less of anything at any time, which is also very spectral.
Bloomin Legends. Another thing he did, of course, was always wear the same clothes every single day. This is because Einstein is the first to really look at what he called option paralysis.
Yes. He didn't want too much of a choice.
Things. Option paralysis. So if you've got too much of a choice, he'll stay there for ages.
Right.
So don't give
Never
yourself...
landing on
cut
one.
down on task. Have your hair the same, same shirt, same tie, same jacket, same everything. So
take it all out of the equation.
And he did that pretty well the rest of his life.
The office he worked in had the best technology of the day. They had standing desks. How about that in 1902?
Churchill liked a standing desk.
Did he?
Yeah. Also, so did Karl Marx. The reason Karl Marx liked a standing desk...
Because he couldn't sit down.
He couldn't sit down because of the carbuncles on his arse. And because there was the pustules on his bum was so painful he couldn't sit.
Yeah.
The only reason I've looked at this, incidentally, if you think it's a bit odd, is because I was thinking of getting a standing desk.
Yeah.
So I do prefer to read the papers on one of those standing lectern things.
Like a lectern, yeah.
So, and it just says, famous people who enjoy standing desks. I suddenly thought, maybe I'll do that.
So he didn't like the standing desk. He cut the legs off it.
Did he?
That's so
brilliant.
He cut the legs. That desk, they still have it.
Do they?
They keep it in the patent office as a relic. So now we're into 1905, which, as you described it, the annus mirabilis, the miracle
year. This is
year.
the year.
He's 26.
Yeah.
And he's casually, going through all these patent diagrams.
Yes.
And then in his spare time comes up with, he starts a series of 4 groundbreaking papers. First of all, he addresses the photoelectric effect, which I'll try and describe in a second. Brownian motion, which is to do with the movement of particles within a medium like a gas or a fluid. Special relativity, and mass energy equivalence, what became the E equals mc squared, forming the basis of all modern physics. I'm going to give you the quick Google version. It explains how nuclear reactions, i.e. fusion or fission, within say like the sun or an atomic bomb, release massive energy from a small amount of mass.
Yes.
And the basic equation is the energy is always equal to mass times the speed of light squared.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much his main Bloomin Legend moment, that is, isn't
Yes.
it? So now we fast forward 10 years.
Yes.
It's now 1915. He's 36.
Yeah.
1915, another huge breakthrough for him.
Where is he now?
Well, he's still in Germany.
Right.
But we'll come to that.
Okay.
After years of struggle, he published his theory explaining gravity as the bending of space-time.
Which is, yeah.
So I've got my Googled
Because this has just been proved true now.
The general theory of relativity.
Isn't that amazing, though, Gav?
It's amazing.
This idea of bending it.
Well, even now, practical physicists,
Yes.
like people who are making things that are tiny,
Yeah.
or to do with things that are massive.
Yeah.
When it's our scale, it's Newtonian physics.
Yes.
It's engineering. It's normal engineering.
Yeah.
Weights, forces. It's just absolute terms.
Yes.
But then when you look at tiny things,
Yeah.
it's Einstein.
Yeah.
And massive things, it's Einstein.
Yeah.
So the general theory of relativity, the geometric theory of gravitation describing gravity not as a force, but a curvature of four-dimensional space-time caused by mass and energy.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Massive objects distort the fabric of space-time, and objects, including light, move along these curved paths which we perceive as gravity.
Yes.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
Mind-blowing that it's just been proved true.
Yes, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you can see it demonstrated when people sort of do things like pull an object down on a black trampoline.
Yes.
So before that, they can send a ball back and forth, but then you put a heavy object in there and suddenly the ball behaves completely differently. And
it's amazing.
It's the same thing with space-time, yeah.
So it was hard for people to understand, obviously, especially as this was during World War I.
Yes.
So the wider world was in chaos while he's thinking this stuff up. His way to explain relativity to people is your favourite quote.
This is my favourite Einstein quote, and I would say, if you're trying to understand relativity, what's lovely is you've got this up your sleeve. Gav, give them the quote.
He would explain relativity to people by saying, put your hand on a hot stove for 1 minute and it'll seem like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour and it'll seem like 1 minute. That's relativity.
That's relativity. It's just genius.
Anyway, 1919, he becomes world famous overnight. He's 40 now.
Yeah.
In 1919, a total solar eclipse allowed British astronomers, led by Arthur Eddington and Frank Dyson, to confirm his theory.
No relation.
The way they did it is they photographed stars near the eclipsing sun.
Yes.
And they measured the bending of light by gravity.
Wow.
Matching Einstein's prediction and overturning 200 years of Newtonian physics, which thought light travelled in straight lines.
Yes.
Making him an overnight global celebrity.
Yes.
Suddenly he's recognisable in the street, even though he looks like he's been dragged out of a hedge because he's scatty looking.
Yeah.
That is Bloomin Legend moment number 3.
Legend.
And his iconic look becomes literally the picture of science.
Yes.
In 1921... I mean, what if he'd looked different?
1921?
If he'd looked any different.
Yes.
Like if he'd looked like Gary Busey.
Yes.
Would we see him differently?
I don't think it makes a difference, Gav. He left it all out there on the park.
He did, yeah. His game spoke for itself.
Look, Messi doesn't look like an athlete.
No, he doesn't, does he?
No.
No.
If you saw him walking down the street, you'd never think that's actually the greatest footballer ever lived.
You're right. He doesn't look like an athlete.
I know people bang on about Maradona. People talk about Pele, but Messi.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean that final with him and Mbappe.
It was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
God, that was a mad final.
Amazing.
The one in Qatar, wasn't it? Yeah.
I always think it's a real measure, actually, of having watched football for years. It's quite weird that the better the team, generally, the more physically diverse the players are.
Right. Yes. Because you need a bit of everything.
You look at like the great Man United sides.
And same with ages and everything. Yeah.
Chelsea when we were flying, and you got whether it's Zola, how you got a few little guys, a few big guys.
You need it.
But then you start getting down to the Championship, and they're just all like classic British athlete.
They are
standard British athletic unit.
6 foot one, sir.
6 foot one, sir. You know, do you know what I mean?
It's true. And also Messi, I always think, because he's...
And I'm not saying that to get at Stoke City.
No. Because Messi was famously centro basso.
Yes, yeah.
He had a little legs.
Yeah, he is centro basso.
He...
You only say that because we are.
I love it. Fabregas, perfect example. Pirlo, another. That's why the libero midfielder is.
Okay, sorry, Gavin and I get excited. What we're trying to say is
long torso, short legs.
Yeah, okay. Let's get back to Einstein.
Low middle.
Yeah.
But it means you can change direction.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
Gav, we're not talking about that.
Anyway, the Messi of physics. We'll get back to the Messi.
Yeah.
1921, he does get awarded the Nobel Prize, but not for relativity. He's 42 by now. And he wins the prize, but it's for explaining the photoelectric effect, essentially meaning his most famous scientific discovery in the world did not win the Nobel Prize.
Yes, 1905, we're going back to.
Yeah. So his divorce then rears its head again, but he has to pay his prize money to his ex-wife.
Yes.
The next 10 years of his life after winning the prize were focused on travelling. He's presenting his research around the world, giving lectures, and being a celebrity.
Yeah.
He did some research work as he travelled. He visited places across Europe, America, Japan. This decade, he got some strange quirks. He stopped wearing socks.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they would get holes in them, and they'd annoyed him. So just don't wear them. There's always a logic to it.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Although for me...
No, but for me, I have a thing where if a moth attacks
a piece of clothing,
and I've got those holes in there,
yeah,
I put my fingers, I just rip it completely, just put it in the bin.
Because it's just...
No, because I'm not just... Because I know if I wear that little hole...
It's going to drive you nuts.
Shit out of me.
No, I'm the same as well.
And I do it... I do also do it if I've got the slightest hole in socks.
Yeah.
Because to stop that going back in the wash or in the system...
And annoying you
that's
every
out the
single
system.
time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Total destruction. Take it out on that item of clothing. Forever. It's gone. You're dead to me, you little bastard.
He also once persuaded one of his drivers to just give a lecture as him.
Yeah.
Because it's so funny. Yeah. Now we get to 1933. He's 53. And obviously he's living in Germany, 1933.
Right, no, he gets the hell out of there because of
the
Nazis.
He gets the hell out because of the Nazis.
Yeah. But again, this is how thick Nazis are, right?
Yeah, go on, yes.
If they just hung on to Einstein...
Yeah, they would have had the bomb first.
And all the other, Jewish stinkers, they'd have had a much better managed system and they'd have had the best scientific minds on earth. As it is, they were, no, we'll just build tanks that need petrol.
Shut up, experts.
Shut up, experts. We'll just have tanks and we'll steamroll into countries they're unsuspecting.
And really stupidly, and then get stuck there and get killed.
Yes.
Really stupid.
I know, we'll go to Russia in the winter.
Yeah. Duh.
Morons.
So, yes, he runs to America and sets up a life there. In 1939, very controversial year, he supports a letter that's sent to America, to the US President Roosevelt, suggesting Nazi Germany were capable of building extremely powerful bombs using uranium. He knew it was possible.
Yes.
So the letter pushed the Americans...
Well, we've all seen the heroes of Telemark.
Yeah.
With the heavy water.
Yes.
We know it needs heavy water because of that film.
That's right.
We don't really know what heavy water is.
That's right.
H3O?
No, but some great movies.
H4O.
We've got to get up the fjord.
I don't care. But Kirk Douglas seems to think it was pretty fucking
And it has to involve a fjord.
Yeah, right.
The letter pushes the American government to heavily invest in their own nuclear development program.
So they're doing it way back then.
That's how the Manhattan Project gets chivied into action.
Yeah, they're not. But what year is that?
1939.
Right, so already in 39, without even being in the war.
Knowing the war's likely to
got
come.
A bit of an eye on that, haven't they? Oh, yes.
Absolutely amazing. His equations were the basis of nuclear development, proving the mass could be converted into energy. He wasn't involved in the actual research into the development of the atomic bomb beyond that letter. He did regret his involvement in encouraging the research, though.
But what did he say? He said, if I knew...
Yeah, well, he said it was because I was scared the Nazis would get there first.
Yes.
Okay, so in the 1940s, he's the most famous scientist in the world.
Yeah.
He spends the next 10 years speaking out on civil rights, supporting world government ideas.
Big Zionist.
And becoming a philosophical icon. We do have a selection of his quotes.
Go on.
He says, and this is my favourite, imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yeah.
He also said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving.
Right.
He also said, "Try
Wow,
not."
did he say that?
Yes,
The principles.
That's a great one,
it's
isn't it?
Great, yeah.
He also said, "Try not to be a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value."
Right.
So just getting the pay, just getting a good bonus,
Yeah.
just getting money is
Yeah,
not the same
it's
thing
not the
as
same.
thinking up something that's got value.
Yes. I always say, walk around like you own the place, you never will. Walk around like you love the place, you already do.
Nice. That's nice.
That's mine, that.
Very nice.
That's mine.
He also says the important thing is to not stop questioning, which is a good one. He also says peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
Yes.
That's really
so
good. That's really good.
Peace cannot be achieved by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
Yeah.
And then what's amazing about that is you imagine how gutted he'd be at the conflict still going in Israel and Palestine. Remember, he was a passionate Zionist.
Yeah.
He always believed
Yeah.
in the Jewish
cause,
homeland.
yeah.
And how gutted he'd be that that's still unresolved.
Absolutely,
How gutted he'd be at the way
yeah.
Trump and everyone is behaving in
Yes.
the conflict in Iran, in
definitely.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Understanding. Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the
it's just
idea of
amazing.
trying to keep peace by force is
Yeah.
such a dumb
Yeah,
idea in a way.
Yes.
In its way. It's an oxymoron,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Because it's just political failure, Gavin.
It is,
I think
yeah,
he
yeah,
also
yeah.
said that.
He also said anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new.
Yeah.
That's quite a
But
good
that's
one.
our producer Ben, isn't it?
That's right.
No, it is though. Do you know what I mean? Anytime we suggest anything new, he's like, well, let's stick to what we know.
We
lads."
might make a mistake.
Yeah.
We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them.
But that's exactly like saying madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah, doing the same thing twice.
You're
and
doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different
yeah,
outcome. Yeah.
I mean, he can keep them pithy because he's made the most pithy piece of
Yeah.
physics anyone's ever
Oh
come
yeah,
up
Gav,
with.
when you've written E equals MC
No, it's
squared.
just ridiculous.
When you've written something, personally though, what I find amazing is when you read, some of the great minds, and they'll say, it's more important sometimes to leave a question than an answer, because you're never going to be proved wrong with a great question.
Right.
But sometimes your answers, prove wrong. And it's quite weird. If you go to somewhere like, this is why I think it's important to come up with your own theories without looking at anything. Because if you drive through Paris for instance,
Yeah.
you go past buildings that have loads of great thinkers around them with statues. Yeah?
Yes.
It's the same in Britain. You go past science museums or you go around university towns and you see these statues of these great men and these great thinkers.
Yeah.
And yet, everyone you see pretty well was wrong.
Yes.
Everyone.
That's the amazing thing.
That's what's stunning.
Everything they all knew has been amended.
It's been
by
amended,
now,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Because you have to keep questioning.
Now, your Greek philosophers,
Right.
they still hold it because they were
not
just
bad,
They were
yeah.
not bad because they weren't in the sort of a mechanical world in that
No,
way.
right.
But it's incredible. You go along, you think he was wrong. Loads of them, just all
He
of them
hadn't
wrong.
thought of this.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And they stuck to that for 20 years. And they proved wrong. And the other day that was proved wrong. So just remember when people are holding up these sort of great intellectuals,
Yeah.
that you might be wrong, but so are they.
Yeah, that's right. 1955, he passes away. He's 76. He's in Princeton. He dies of a ruptured aneurysm in his abdomen.
Yeah.
He refuses surgery that might prolong his life. He says, "I want to go when I want. It's tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly."
Right. How brilliant to say it's tasteless, just to
Yeah.
sort of prolong life just
Tasteless.
because you can. And
It is.
what's the point?
It is.
Yeah.
His final, very odd Bloomin Legend moment
Yeah.
is that the pathologist that performs his autopsy, Thomas Harvey, secretly removes his brain without Einstein's permission.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Einstein's
And
brain.
what does he find?
He keeps it for research. They discover his brain is very unique. Rumours was that it was larger than usual, than the general population because he's so smart. That was disproven.
Yeah.
But studies suggest that certain areas of his brain, known for things like maths and
Yes.
spatial reasoning,
Yes.
were above average size.
Right.
I think I've read somewhere else that the connections between the two sides of your brain,
Yeah.
in his brain, they were almost fused. So that he could look at a sheet of things
Wow.
and just see.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you really kicks off. Then they go, and they say that his brain was almost certainly not from Earth.
Turns out it was the brain of an ostrich.
Oh, no. That he had the brain of a blue whale. He had the brain of a triceratops.
Identical in every way.
Yeah, right. So there we go.
Either way, Albert Einstein. Bloomin Legend.
Bloomin Legend. Can I just say, yes, a lot of you might think that the man who literally changed the world forever,
Yes.
the way we think, the face of warfare, perhaps kept the peace, perhaps stopped us from destroying each other by creating something which was capable of it. You know, the mutually assured destruction, mad theory. But before we start blowing his trumpet a bit too much, one of our listeners, viewers, sent in a picture of Jack Churchill arriving at D-Day with a claymore.
Coming off the landing craft
yeah.
with the sword in his hand.
Yes, and
Well, that's the thing with Jack Churchill. He's for real.
He's for real.
He is.
Also, remember Churchill said that he felt meanly on any officer that didn't go into war with a sword.
Did he?
And only,
well, even during the Second World War?
Yeah. No. No, Jack Churchill said that.
Oh, sorry.
Not Winston.
Oh, I thought
No, Winston.
No, but it's quite Winston as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'd like it if Winston
Yeah,
thought that
if
as well.
insisted.
But I think it was Jack Churchill. No, Jack Churchill just thought an officer should always have a sword.
Yeah, right. It's a gentleman's
Of course he should.
accoutrement.
But even in modern warfare, you can. But anyway, so Jack Churchill, remember, he shot a longbow at D-Day and killed a German.
Yeah.
So, killed a Nazi.
Yeah.
So Einstein, where's he going in here, Gav?
Well, you see, I like the idea of Einstein going in. Because,
Well, I'm going to put him in instead of Douglas Bader.
Yeah, because Douglas Bader is a bit like Jack Churchill, isn't he? And we've got two of those.
Bye, Doug.
See you later, Dougie.
Dougie, you did, but also just by being on the board for a bit,
Yes.
is pretty amazing.
It's pretty legendary.
But
yeah. We can't not have Bert. We have to have Bertie. Because he
Yeah.
not only changed the way we think about
Yeah.
physics, but he literally changed the way we think about thinking.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
That's pretty good.
No,
isn't
no,
it?
no. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Don't say anything more! No. But that's it for this week. We'll see you in episode 58.